Guys, can we at least agree that something is up? There is something amiss within the UFO movement. There is something ongoing, something that does deserve serious acknowledgement. They can't all be balloons, right? We've had seasoned professionals come forward, first-hand witnesses, skeptics converted to believers, people who have actually worked on these programs. And we're still receiving headlines like this as though this is one crazy movement. And it makes sense in my opinion because history is littered with war, death, lies, and deceit. And there has been a lot of good in there, definitely. And war has been a catalyst in many ways to improve against our adversaries and improve technologically. But this has all led into a lack of openness and trust. And by the way, I don't know how this can be resolved. Well, I do have some ideas. Maybe that's a video for another day. But I think this all kind of works in order towards a lack of curiosity. And I'm sure this lack of curiosity has destroyed a lot of potentially world-changing ideas. But then I guess that's just who we are as a race. We are ultimately war-mongering philosophers, and we know this deep down. It's why we envision an advanced race to have shed this biological Neanderthal anger, because it's not logical. Or we might see them as being connected to the universe or a higher power or being some sort of conscious being, basically being in touch with something greater than what we are. And this, in my opinion, has transgressed into our lives. It's everywhere. And the UFO subject is a perfect example of this. It's Exhibit A. It just has different faces. It's part of the same puzzle of what makes us tick. Gabor Matt believes that trauma is passed down, like genetically. So maybe this lack of trust and the insistence to hold on to our belief systems that has followed us around for years is a product of this. And I know we're not sure of NHI's motives, but we are innately disregarding anything other than what we deem as to be true. And the key word is innately. It's part of who we are. And people say the UFO subject has had stigma for years. Yes, it's had ridicule, but it didn't start off with the UFO subject. Anything that sits outside our belief systems or something that is too extraordinary for us to fathom, we've always struggled to take into consideration, and we've immediately disregarded before even actually looking at it properly. And then we term the words, "you're crazy," or we put these particular people in a particular bracket. Same thing happened with Copernicus, who brought forward the heliocentric views that we orbit the sun. He was mocked because it went against the current ideologies. Same thing happened when Ignaz Semmelweis, also Hungarian, and I'm Hungarian as well, and I promise it isn't some sort of propaganda, but he had this crazy idea that we should wash hands between births when delivering babies, and this was pushed back because it didn't fit the current consensus. So it's not the situation, but it's the repeated behavior, because this does continue. Anything that goes against our beliefs, no matter how big or small. And I'm a victim of this as well. Of course, we all are. And some people are aware of this, and some people are more open and curious, of course. And some people are okay being challenged and having their ideologies challenged. And by the way, I'm not saying that we should be taking everything into consideration and accepting it as gospel, but surely, as with any subject, if there is a mass curiosity, then by now we should have a process in place to look at these things deeper. And I just wonder why the question or thought never pops into our head that we have been wrong before, that our perceptions and view of life have been switched upside down before, that, we thought something and new evidence or new information came to light that suggests otherwise. And this has ultimately moved into skepticism of individuals driving the UAP disclosure as if they are all doing it for money. And by the way, I'm sure there are some that are doing it just to make some buck from it. But it makes you think, if they really wanted to just make cash from this, wouldn't demanding a big sum from the people trying to hold down this secrecy just be an easier route? Just get that and go? Why spend so much time and effort unless you're just a maniac and you're just doing it for fame and ego? Okay, then let's go with that route, as there could well be people like that as well. But what about those rare individuals that are doing it legit for a correct cause? And I believe, like the UFO footage, because I think there's a similar case with that as well, where we have a lot of evidence and then we get that small percentage of actual footage that is unexplainable. And I believe there's an abundance of people like that in the current limelight who are doing business and have true intentions. And on the opposite side, we've had years of disinformation and secrecy infused with particular figureheads who latch onto this and don't seem to see the bigger picture. And I say they don't because they are ultimately trying to withhold information from something profound. I mean, that part is clear. It's been confirmed that Kirkpatrick is an unpaid consultant of Arrow. Why? Why are you still working there? What is your objective? So, with a mixture of natural skepticism and a lack of openness towards notions that change our belief systems, and a campaign which has been tainting the UFO subject as wackiness, and it still does, trying to continue to reattach the crazy label, we have no other option but to continue, because at the end of the day, those people are being unruly in the search for truth, because that's all it is. Whatever comes out of this, who knows? But I bet you nearly everyone who is following this subject, they just want to know. It's simple as that. If we are even to remove the UFO esoteric connections and possibility that these beings have been visiting us for thousands of years, the last decade alone, there's been a lot of abduction cases, all documenting similar experiences, and a ton of UFO sightings. And these beings just observing us. Why? What do they want with us? That is the ultimate answer to UAP transparency. So, no, we are not crazy. Copernicus wasn't crazy. Tesla was not crazy. And all the other visionaries who saw something other than what their current belief systems have led them to believe. Anyway, look, all of this just led and descended from that article. And I think it's laughable because something is ongoing, and those choosing to not even take this subject seriously, those newspapers and news houses still choosing to ridicule, they will simply go down as the enforcers who try to block the biggest discovery ever. A confirmation that potentially trumps all other discoveries, bigger than the start of religion, bigger than the invention of electricity and the will. But I just wanted to highlight to those that might see the article and nod in agreement, and for those who believe in the subject and still wonder if they are crazy. Because sometimes I wonder if I'm crazy. People think I'm crazy. But it's cool because we're not. We are just curious beings. And for some, that curiosity has led from personal experiences, which has even made it a personal journey. And I can assure you, as the UAP mountain for transparency is climbed, that stigma will fall out completely. And then we will probably be at a point when we point our fingers at something else. But let's cross each bridge as it comes, I guess. Those who are pushing this agenda, and even those that are naturally skeptical on this, that's absolutely fine. Okay, it's okay to be skeptical, but you've got to at least be curious and not completely discredit what has been happening for generations, potentially thousands of years. Let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy today's video, would appreciate a like, subscribe. Feel free to share this, right? I think this video, the objective is to try and offer some sort of empowerment, a different perspective to this as well, right? It's putting it on human nature and not the UFO subject, because there is something real there. It's just the way we operate as humans. Take care, and I'll see everyone next video.